Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the game, and welcome back to the game. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we've got a top 5, one we haven't done for a few months, to be fair, and it is currently the worst tanks to play in Blitz. The top 5 worst tanks to play in Blitz. Now, what I mean by this is going by average win rate. So these are the lowest average win rate tanks in tier 10 at the moment. Now, most of these are actually really good tanks, but they're not performing. People are not performing in them, and they're losing a lot of games. So coming in at number 5 at 48.4% is, of course, the FE4005. Now, this is a great tank. In the right hands, this is a fantastic tank, but of course it is a difficult tank to play. It doesn't have any armor. It does have a long reload, so if you are reloading your 4 shells, then you've got medium tanks or anyone really around you with the HE, they are going to absolutely obliterate you. So the FE4005, like, yes, it is a good tank, it's a fantastic tank, but people are just not performing in it. And I'm not saying about they're not doing the damage. They can be doing the damage, but this isn't about damage. It's about winning and losing. So at the moment, this is 5th on that list at 48.4%. Moving on to tank number 4. Tank number 4, of course, it's always going to be there. It is the Death Star, the FE215B183. Now, this is a total of 48.3% win rate. So all five of these tanks are literally like 0.4% difference. So you've got 48.4 for the FE4005 and then 48.3 for the Death Star. Now, the Death Star is actually level with number 3, but I've decided to put the Death Star at number 4 because it's always on the list. It is one of the worst performing tanks in the game because so many people want to play it because of the alpha, but then so many people just do not do well in the tank. And it is one of those tanks where you may have one shot and that may be it, and that one shot may even miss, and if you get sort of overrun by mediums and light tanks, they will just completely obliterate you with their DPM and your long reload. They will annihilate you. And that's the thing with the Death Star. Everybody wants to play it. For so many years, everybody wants the Death Star. It's one of the most popular tanks in the game, only because of the alpha. It has obviously the highest alpha in the game, and if you can use the Hesh and you do max roll, it's over 1600 per shot. So yeah, you're not going to get the max roll that often, but you can get shots like that into the Progetto. Almost 1200 in the Progetto, and for me, that's 2 shots done and I'm on 2k. So a lot of people are happy with that. A lot of people are happy with sort of 2000, 3000 damage, and if I even get the 3rd shot in, that would be close to the 3000 mark. And again, that is normally, that is like a decent game when you do 3000, but in a Death Star, doing 3000 is nothing special because, again, it is just 3 shots. That is all it is. It's just 3 shots. But the Death Star is always going to be there. As I've said, it's one of the worst performing tanks in the entire game. It always has been, and it always will be. So that is number 4. Moving on to joint 4th and 3rd is the next tank. And it's the Object 140. Now, I do like the Object 140. I'm not going to lie. I think all the Russian sort of medium tanks are very good tanks. But for the 140, really, I've said it for so many years. The T62A has got so much love over the years, and the 140 has always been kind of just forgotten about. Now, of course, when I first entered the game, when I first started playing the game, it was all about 140s. It was all about IS7s, 140s, and maybe even sort of the FE215Bs or the E5. But the 140 has always been a popular tank. But again, people are not performing well. So just like the Death Star, 48.3% win rate. So I'm not saying they're not performing well. They could be doing 5-6k damage every single game, but they're just not winning. So that is basically what this video is about. Is not about really performance. It's about being unlucky and not winning games. Now, you don't bounce too much in the Object 140. I think with the camouflage, it looks fantastic. It does look fantastic. But when you look at other tanks like the T62A or the E50M that have just got so much love over the years, and this has just kind of been left. It's kind of been sort of forgotten about in a way, and not many people play it. And of course, as you can see by the stats, going by Blitz analysis, people are losing a lot in this tank. So that is the Object 140 at number 3. Let's move on to tank number 2. Tank number 2 is a heavy tank. It is the AMX 50B. Now again, this is an absolutely brilliant tank, but I can kind of understand why people don't perform well in it. It's got no armor. It does get, again, it gets obliterated, and you know, people can pen it, people can HE it very, very easy. You have over 20 seconds on your reload. But again, I'm not saying it's not a good tank. It's a brilliant tank. The AMX 50B is an absolutely awesome tank when played correctly. Again, with the reload, same with any autoloader or the same with any tank with a long reload, you always have to make sure you have some kind of cover whilst you are reloading. Now, I'm getting destroyed from, I think it's the STB behind. I knew the Death Star was here, but as you can see, I'm just getting absolutely destroyed. But in a moment, you're going to see one of the worst shots that I'm ever going to do, and then followed by one of the best shots I think I've ever done in this tank, and I'm very surprised that I've got it. So I know this guy's a one shot. It's the Leopard 1. I know he's a one shot, so I've got one shell in my magazine, so I'm waiting. Can I get the shot? And I miss. Now, with 3 of my tanks pretty much all around him, I've got a 20-second reload, and I still have time to reload this tank before they can kill him. But at number 3, at 48.3% win rate, this is 48.2%. So very, very close. Again, it's a great tank. Here we go. Ready? Bang. What a shot that was. But I can understand why people don't perform well in it. It does get destroyed, and when people don't know how to play the tank, then yeah, it might not seem a very, very good tank. But at second on the list, obviously, people are not performing that well in the AMX 50B. Now, that may have been because it has had a change recently from 3 shells to 4 shells. You know, I really don't know. So I don't know. Just people are losing in this tank quite often. That then leads me on to the worst rated tank at the moment in terms of average win rate. Now, in all fairness, I'm not overly surprised. It is the Object 260. In my opinion, one of the worst tier 10 tanks. I'm not saying it's like a really bad tank, but it's also not a really, really good tank. It has decent speed. It has really good reload. The armor profile maybe could be a bit better. The turret's okay into certain aspects. But yeah, I'm not surprised at this tank being at the bottom. I thought it would definitely be in the top 5, but not. Yeah, probably, to be fair, the tanks we've looked at, I would say out of the 5 we looked at, this is most likely not to perform well, apart from the Death Star, which I always think should be at the bottom, because again, a lot of people don't perform well in the Death Star. People get rushed, they don't know what to do, and people do focus a Death Star a lot more than they would focus an Object 260. But currently 48%, like dead on 48% win rate, and this is over the last update. So the entire of the last update, this has been the worst performing tank. So let me know in the comments below, are you surprised at any of these tanks in this list for this month? Again, each month it can change. People might perform well in certain months and maybe not other months, and they may lose months, and next month these could be in the top 5 when it comes to win rate. It could be in the top 5. Who knows? But let me know in the comments below, are you surprised at any tank on this list? But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.